Hey, Dr. Ermacher here. Welcome to this broadcast with Kids Health Restored. I am here with the lovely Ava Anderson with Ava Anderson Non Toxic. And I'm happy to have Ava with us because her message is very congruent with what we talk about at Kids Health Restored, which is that the different things that affect the health of our kids, and obviously this carries on into adults, and I've always said that it's much easier to raise a healthy child than it is to fix broken adults. So I'm really happy to have Ava here with that because she carries a message of non-toxic more in the realm of products. So Ava, thanks for being here. If you would, and I hate to put it this way, but you kind of started this as a kid as well. So if you would kind of take us back to how you got started with this and what brought up Ava Anderson Non Toxic.
Sure. Well, I'm 21 and heading into my senior year of college now, but I started learning about this whole issue when I was just 14. I saw a study on the news with my mom about all these harmful chemicals found inside teenagers' bloodstreams and in their bodies from the everyday shampoos, conditioners, deodorant, sunscreens, lip balms that they were using on a daily basis. And, I think most people, like my mom who would see it, thought it was pretty alarming. But for me, it just really rattled me, and I was just disturbed by all this information, and it launched me on this year-long journey where I was just trying to find safer alternatives. At first, I thought, oh, I'll go to the health food store, and I didn't even have my license yet, so mom will drive me to a couple towns over, and when we go to the drugstore, I'll spend a few more dollars, and I'll get the natural, safe, pure version, and figured I would just be able to buy my way out of this health issue. But the more I researched, I realized I was being what's called greenwashed, which is when manufacturers, through all those big marketing dollars, attract consumers with those pretty green leaves and these big keywords and buzzwords, but the ingredients list on the back tells a whole different story. So I was, falling into the trap of, fortified with organic jojoba oil, which is an incredible ingredient. But then when I realized, to ignore that front marketing and take a peek at the back, that organic jojoba oil was sandwiched between lots of nasty ingredients I didn't want to be exposing myself to. So after starting a blog and educating family and friends and not being able to come up with that truly safe full line of products to use and recommend, I decided I wanted to do something about that.
Okay, great. So with that then, what products did you start with and how did you decide what you were going to go with?
So back in 2009, we launched with just 6 skincare products. And, I think that just seemed like a great initial entrance into the market. So many women and men use skincare on a daily basis and moisturizers and whatnot. So we had those 6 items, but very quickly, because this business really for us is all about the health message and our mission and educating. So when we're selling product, we're educating people, and then they realize this whole issue. It's, okay, great, Ava, I have a safe cleanser and toner and moisturizer now, but what about my shampoo and what about my deodorant? So we very quickly, we're trying to find and create and produce safer alternatives to everything. So today, we're in our 6th year of business, and we have over 90 products in 17 different categories. So men's products, baby, pet, kids, home cleaning products, just everything you use, we want to have truly safe, non-toxic alternatives to it.
Okay, awesome. So that's a lot of products. Mm-hmm. How do you decide then, maybe based on feedback, what you're going to go with next as far as the products? And do you have anything in the loop right now?
Yeah, so customers and consultants alike are definitely not shy with their recommendations. So we have huge lists of very popular and not so popular products, and just everyone lets us know what they're interested in. So, the deodorant, for instance, which we launched a few years ago, that took us 2.5, 3 years to really get it right, both on ingredients and effectiveness, which is a huge issue with deodorants, especially truly natural ones. We have a whole graveyard of natural deodorants we tried that just didn't make it past lunchtime. And then pricing as well, making sure we could have it be affordable to all. So, products like that often take a really long time. We're always in development on dozens at a time. We have an incredible in-house formulator, and we do work with 3 external private label manufacturers as well, all within United States, and constantly just, reformulating potential items, changing the scent, changing some of the ingredients, working it all around. And people always want to know what we're working on, but we keep that a big secret because it's much more fun to have that big surprise at one of our national conferences or on a training call or however we go about bringing those products to market.
Sure. Now, you obviously you're saying, you kind of mix around products. You know a lot of the ingredients now that are safe, and non-toxic. How much are you personally involved in that, as opposed to your formulators? Do you come in just because you like the scents? How involved are you in that?
So myself and my mom, who's the president of the company, are very involved in all steps. We are doing ourselves a lot of the testing, and we have other people doing it as well. But we could go through 15 different versions of, say, the Boo Boo Stick we just created and launched a couple months back. And then once we think we've really gotten it right, then we'll disperse it to a small group of trusted employees and whatnot to have their kids try it and whatnot. But so mom and I are really involved in that. We're really involved in the researching of the ingredients, figuring out as we're creating these products, we're writing up what the potential and future info sheets would be for all of them, so that why we chose to have calendula in our dream cream and what that does for the skin, and why that helps people with eczema and rosacea and whatnot. One of our number one biggest Facebook post ever just went up a few days ago on the popular kids Frozen phenomenon, the Disney character. They had a very popular shower gel for little kids with all the Disney cartoons on it. And it was just absolutely loaded with harmful chemicals, known carcinogens and neurotoxins and dyes. And so that was incredible to see how many people were sharing it with their loved ones, to let them know and to really be on the lookout that, although it's really enticing for your little girl or boy to want to use that product, here's why, maybe that's not the best choice. And just pop a few stickers on your Ava Anderson products and you'll be good to go.
Right. So with that, when someone is looking at a product, then what are a couple that really just stand out that they can look for? And then do you have a resource where we can send people to go through and look at other ingredients that they can compare their labels to?
So we have what's called the Ava Anderson Ingredients to Avoid list, which is our top 17 big offenders that we recommend you not exposing yourself to, either in the products you're putting on your skin, because we know what goes on our skin is getting absorbed into our bloodstream, or inhaling through, air fresheners, candles, colognes, whatnot. And so those top 17 are a really great way you can compare them with a label and say, oh boy, this product has 13 out of Ava's 17, this one might need to go back to the store. And that resource is on our website. It's also, I think the handiest way to get it is right on our Facebook page. On the left-hand side is the notes section.
Sure.
And so I'm constantly, when people ask about a certain product, it's never about putting another company down. It's simply all about the ingredients. And we always love any opportunity to help educate someone on, yes, it might be a dermatologist recommended product or number one trusted by hospitals, but that's unfortunately no more than really a business deal. And, here's what's in that and why it might not be the best option. So that resource would definitely be what I would recommend. And the first ingredient on there is fragrance, which is a little confusing for some people to understand, and myself included, because fragrance on the back of a product, the ingredients label, whether it's in a toothpaste, a deodorant, or shampoo, is really just a big loophole. So it's not a chemical that they're adding into the product, but it's a way for manufacturers to hide dozens or hundreds of chemicals and not list them. So what they're hiding in there over 75% of the time are phthalates, a cousin to BPA, that plasticizer ingredient, and they help the life of a fragrance, a synthetic fragrance, last really long. So, if you're using 10 conventional products on a daily basis and 9 of them have fragrance, then 7 or 8 of them in there have these hidden phthalates. And they're now being linked with autism and ADHD in the first and third trimester of pregnancy by Dr. Philip Landergan and his team out of the Mount Sinai Children's Environmental Health Center. So really just nasty ingredients linked with all sorts of health issues. And yet in the US, they're not required to be listed on the label. So it's really the Wild West when it comes to products. And, our whole mission is just to educate people on how to make healthier choices and why that's so necessary. And that's why instead of just bringing the product to market through online sales or, put it on a health food store shelf or a drugstore, there was no way to really educate the consumer. There's simply, only 1 or 2 square inches on the back of a toothpaste tube. So we knew direct sales or the party plan model was the way to go about that, because if we could have 20,000 Ava hours, as we call them, or parties this month, which we're really not that far off of, with an average of 10 people at each one, our whole consultant field and everyone here at the home office, we'd all be responsible in one single month for educating 200,000 American families on this issue. And we know that when we reach those numbers and beyond, that's when real change will come about, because unfortunately in this country, we really don't have much, I personally don't have much faith that on a government legislation level, much chemical policy change will happen. I've been twice now to DC in support of legislation in 2011 and 13, and maybe baby steps will happen, but nothing really can turn a market upside down faster than moms and dads demanding better for their kids. So it's really my whole mission and all of our consultants to give this information to family members so they can use it to their advantage.
Excellent. Yeah, and this obviously will go to all the parents and families that come across Kids Health Restored. So a couple of things then on what you were just talking about. One is the number of Ava hours, the parties that's been going on. You guys just went through a huge expansion with the facility, so I'll have you touch on that. And then the other one you mentioned, Washington, D.C. Who would you say that you've come across and have had a platform to share with that is a big name and very influential in, taking the message and going with it, someone we can keep an eye on?
Through those 2 visits to DC, my mom and I personally met with 35 of the senior health policy analysts for the congressmen and women who would be deciding on this issue. And we tried to make it as relatable and understandable as possible. We just brought 10 very, very basic conventional products anybody buys on a drugstore shelf that I used to use before I knew about this issue. And we'd explain, fragrance like I just did and say, 9 out of 10 of these products have fragrance. Or we talk about parabens and how some of them are banned in the European Union and what they're now being linked with. And some of them are, known carcinogens. And out of these 10 basic products, you have 37 hits of this one single chemical group, paraben. So we tried to make it really understandable, and they were all just blown away by what we were sharing with them. And I had to believe that a huge percentage of them would be implementing changes in their families' lives. But as far as on a political level, they're just really, their hands were tied. It's the Energy and Commerce Committee, which is the second most powerful. And not only do you have the Republican and the Democratic parties, but within the Democratic Party is the current leader, who kind of took over the spot of the previous leader, who's not so happy with him. So within that one party, they each got their friends to kind of rally around them. So we had really 3 distinct parties and groups and factions, and nothing was going to be passed. There was actually some competing legislation introduced while we were there that would actually take us even more backwards than where we already are, which is kind of hard to imagine. But they said, it was introduced by the chemical lobby, saying, we understand it's time for more rules to be put in place, so we want to propose this nationwide standard. Well, reading between the lines, what that means is they want to bring us backwards and take away rights from California, Minnesota. California has Prop 65, where they just are forced to label if they use certain known carcinogens. A huge step above most of the country. Minnesota and some other states have banned microbeads, some are banning triclosan, and so it would actually take away all of that small but incredible progress that those states on their own had to make to try to protect their citizens. Sure. So it really was 2 depressing trips for sure, but it just further motivated us that what we're doing on that grassroots level is so critical, and that we just have to grow as big as possible. We to make that much needed difference happen in our country. We just enrolled our 11,000th consultant, and we're enrolling over 1,000 every single month. So if we don't grow at all, we'll be to 23,000 consultants next year. But if records and history repeats itself, we're tripling every year. So the sky really is the limit with how big we can get and how many people we can have a positive impact with this health message.
That's awesome. So now you mentioned like 10 of those products that most people use in their households. Mm-hmm. If you were to just pick, let's say 3 to 5 that a family right now with their kids and their own family, that they just need to really probably clear out of their cabinets and put something non-toxic in there, what would those 3 to 5 products be?
I get this question a lot, and I, of course, want to say everything.
Sure.
I don't want anybody out there to still be using products and exposing themselves to these harmful chemicals, but I recommend to think of what you use most frequently in your home and on your family, and in the largest quantities of, so in the summer, head to toe, we're using sunscreen 2 to 3 times a day. That would definitely be something I'd recommend to look into a healthy alternative for. I wrote a blog, which has been shared by Prevention Magazine, called The 7 Sunscreen Shockers. And it kind of breaks down all, the truth behind conventional sunscreens, and then leads you to be able to make a healthier choice. Maybe not for little ones, but for adults, deodorant would definitely be a big one, men and women. Laundry pods also, a lot of people don't think of. We have some incredible stories of people's eczema and rosacea and psoriasis and acne and all sorts of skin irritations just, overnight, in a couple days, in a couple weeks, issues that they've been dealing with for years, or in some cases decades, and they've been to all the doctors and whatnot. And when they, move away from those really harmful ingredients that often cases exacerbate their skin conditions, and then put on really incredible organic and healing ingredients, the results are just incredible. But going back to what I was saying about laundry pods, we can recommend our Dream Cream or Diaper Cream, which are some of our biggest bestsellers, a really incredible thick moisturizer and awesome for all skin issues. And then you want to switch out a soap or body wash that you're using. But the laundry pods, most people don't think about. But if you have, say, a rash on your body or a skin irritation, your clothes, your sheets, pretty much 24/7 when you're sleeping and awake, everything touching your skin has been soaked oftentimes in harsh detergents. So the trifecta for skin issues that I always recommend is the Dream Cream, one of our soaps, and the laundry pods.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and we've been using them for quite some time. And I think that's one of the challenges too, when you had mentioned deodorant earlier, is when people think of a natural product too, they think of the effectiveness.
Exactly.
We notice that we use the dishwashing, we use the laundry, we use, the entire line, and just incredible how happy people actually are, as opposed to, I'm going to try it, I know it should be healthier, but I'm just using it because it is, a healthier alternative. But they're pretty fantastic products.
Yeah, many people think that they're going to give up that effectiveness. And our goal was always just to make a product that worked as well as conventional products, so you didn't have to give up that effectiveness. But we found with so many of them that, nature really got it right the first time, and that so many of them are far superior than the products people used to use.
Now, this may be tougher than your favorite products, or anything like that, but share with us a couple of the most impactful stories, because you get a lot of stories shared on your Facebook page and emails, I'm sure. Most impactful stories of people switching to your products that maybe had a health challenge before and just saw a major turn with that by removing those chemicals, those toxic chemicals.
I had shared some of the eczema and psoriasis and rosacea ones with you. We just get those dozens a week, and they're incredible. I've timed one for Facebook for this week where, a little kid was in so much pain that she would just cry herself till she would throw up. She was just distraught by the pain of the scabs and the bleeding, and just sick of what she was having to deal with. And to be able to know that she doesn't have to deal with that anymore is just so incredible. In addition to all the skin issues, we've had so many people who don't deal with headaches and migraines and asthma anymore, because I think, in addition to your personal care products, home cleaning products really can have huge impacts on health, but especially breathing issues, migraine issues, whatnot, candles, Febreze type air freshener products. So, some people who were on rescue inhalers and on steroid inhalers and all these crazy products and visiting their pulmonologist monthly, don't have to spend that $300-400 anymore every single month. And then, much more beyond that is just to be able to be really healthy and not have to deal with that. But the migraine stories are always so incredible to me, just because so many of these, ingredients that they had to be around just were triggers for them that our bodies don't want to deal with and can't process. So.
Right. That's incredible. Yeah. So I would encourage everyone watching this too to go over to the Facebook page and take a look at the stories. And one of your other links, I think it's Ava Anderson Stories. Is it just stories?
Yeah, it's our blog.
Yeah, which has some great, obviously, tips, but also stories on there as well. So anything parting that you'd like any of my viewers to see?
I would just welcome anybody to try the products if they haven't before, or even just to go and educate themselves and learn some of our health message. We do have an incredible business opportunity, and we're always looking for more people to join the family and the team and to help us spread this important health message. For $99, anybody can become an Ava Anderson consultant, and you've got the products and the tools you need to go off and help other families make healthier choices while, earning an incredible income at the same time. So do check that out if that's something that interests you, or pass it on to a friend.
Okay, so with that too, you had mentioned the Ava Hours. And one of the things with the Ava Hour is it gives a chance to hear the opportunity, but also to try those things out. How would they find someone maybe in their area? Is there a good way to do that? I'll share some links below here, but obviously this is a long...
On our website, you can fill out a form there to either be connected with the closest consultant to enroll under, or to have them help you host a party. So there's those forms right on our website to be connected with the closest leader to you.
Okay, awesome. Well, I appreciate your time. Like I said, we'll share the links down here with your Facebook page and everything else, so people can see the stories that, like I said, are just incredible that come across there when you remove a toxic chemical from it. And we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Bye-bye.